Star Wars The Rise of Skywalker is set to introduce a total of 8 new characters in this story that will be used in a way in order to evolve the characters of Rey, Kylo Ren, and a whole lot more in Episode 9. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, that's one great thing about Episode 9 is that we do know that this movie is going to have a lot of cameos from the prequels, the originals, as well as other forms of canon material that falls under Disney, like of course the books, the novels, the comics, whatever have you, as well as many references to other canon material out there. Now, what's really intriguing is, of course, Episode 9 is set to include over 8 new characters in this film, which may be a bit over the top, wouldn't you say? We'll all have to wait and see exactly, how that's going to be done on the big screen and how they're going to be used in order to progress some of the main characters like Rey and Kylo. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film, and when it all comes down to one of the concept art descriptions, this is where things begin to get very exciting. Now, specifically, a description of Rey guiding both Poe and Finn, as well as Maz Kanata and her pirates to the First Order headquarters, before the attack, where it's described that one of the Resistance soldiers makes the first move by launching an RPG-like weapon toward one of the turret towers, that eventually collapse. The next describes Maz Kanata calling in her ship, where many pirates are jumping off board, where 2 characters that are both codenamed AT and EB, both of which heavily resemble Ahsoka Tano and Ezra Bridger. It's described that the AT character is an older female Togruta, carrying a large blaster rifle with a lightsaber hilt attached to her belt, where it's said that she begins to shoot down red stormtroopers that belong to the First Order, where the EB character is described to be a male around the age of 50 to 55, with long black hair and a goatee, holding 2 blaster pistols, also with a lightsaber hilt attached to his belt, where he is said to be shooting down jump troopers in the air, where their jetpacks go out of control and crash into the ground and explode. So I really want to go over a couple of parts about this. Now, obviously, these characters codenamed AT and EB are references to that of Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano, without a doubt. You guys may very well be aware that, there's a lot of talk right now that they are even all set and ready to appear in Star Wars The Mandalorian, since Dave Filoni is back on board, and that actual series takes place, I believe he said 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, but I digress. This whole entire sequence, alright, involves Maz Kanata calling in her band of pirates in order to really take on the battlefield and go up against the First Order, after one of the Resistance soldiers uses this RPG-like weapon, which I believe that we saw weapons like this in Rogue One: A Star Wars Story during the Battle of Scarif, if I'm not mistaken. Now, what I like about this entire sequence is that it reminds me of the beach of Normandy. You have all the different soldiers from the Resistance and Maz Kanata's pirates coming in on the First Order's position, quietly. It's like the battlefield is basically the ocean, and then they come in and they start to attack, and they begin to attack the First Order, which is when the Red Stormtroopers and the Jump Troopers come into play on this massive land battle within the 3rd act of the movie. Now, the thing that really gets me, though, is how both Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano, these characters, are not using their lightsabers, at least in this particular moment, where the AT character is described to be using a large blaster rifle, where the EB character is using 2 blaster pistols. Now, one would argue that Jedi do not use guns or anything around those lines. However, given that this is decades well after the events of Rebels and even the original trilogy, you can only imagine, how things may have changed for Ezra in the unknown regions and getting out of there and wherever Ahsoka Tano has been. So the thing that I like about this, though, is that this seems like a great way in order to show the fans that the Resistance really is getting all the help that they need from all corners of the galaxy. And even J.J. Abrams confirmed this on stage over at Celebration that, well, Episode 9, it's really all about sending the signal out there and getting everybody to help them in order to take down the First Order, this large evil organization that's taking over the entire galaxy, led by Supreme Leader Ren. Now, of course, with that aside, we also have a new villain in this movie that is actually said to be the Dark Acolyte, that is somewhat associated with Emperor Palpatine in some way, shape, or form. But the characters of Ahsoka Tano and Ezra Bridger, I've been talking about this for a while, and I've been asking you guys on whether or not this is a good or a bad move by Disney and Lucasfilm in order to incorporate animated TV series characters into a live-action Star Wars saga movie. So the saga films, guys, like I say, we do know that they are very important. You know, the Skywalker saga is a very important, way of storytelling and a way of telling the Star Wars story. Now, so far, we only got one Rebels character that was actually put in the form of live action. That was, of course, in Rogue One, A Star Wars Story. And I just want to correct myself there. That was actually a Clone Wars character called Saw Gerrera that was pretty much, implanted into Rogue One into an older version of himself. Very interesting take, and honestly, guys, I liked it. Forrest Whitaker, he did a great job as the role. Could he have done a better job? I think so. There were times where that character was a little off, so that's the only thing that I'm really worried about when it comes to Ezra and Ahsoka, is whether or not it would actually change our perception on how we view the Star Wars Rebels TV series. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.